DJ Leroy.
Night Watchman, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great, man. We made it into September.
Can you believe it? But there's still, I believe, an election about to happen in November. In November, yeah. We got a little time. But have you already made up your mind?
We're not going to talk politics today. We're going to talk culture and the influence of politics on culture.
Night Watchman, thank you once again for rescuing me from the cliff. Okay, I was about to jump off. Okay.
All right. So first of all, we have three cultural powerhouses lined up. So
I understand that two of them are actually returning guests. Is that correct?
That's right.
Oh my God. So are you talking about the sage, the drummer, none other than Voza Rivers? Is that who you're talking about?
Absolutely. Welcome, Voza.
What's up, buddy?
Hi, I'm here.
The Lord. Yes, you are. Yeah, Voza, as always, thank you for coming on. And another one, oh my God, can you say ASP?
ASP Arts Collective. Judy
yes.
Back.
Judy!
Hey, how are you? How are you?
Guest of all time. In fact, we got two of our favorite guests of all time.
Exactly.
Yeah, we always have a good time. We always have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Judy, you do not mind if I say Judy.
I love it.
Excellent. And Night Watchman, understand this next guest, this is his first time on Soul Lounge Primetime.
But it's not his first time in front of a camera. He's a television icon.
Really?
And then, but besides being an icon, a storied career and stage in front of the camera, with his pen in hand. He's a writer. He does it all, and he's here with us today, Mr. Ted Lange.
Ted Lange.
Hello, gang. Happy to be here. So good to see you all.
Okay, I won't do it just to be shameful, but the Love Boat.
Listen, I don't mind. Really, I don't mind. It opened a lot of doors.
Yeah, right.
That opened
it's
a
still
lot
playing
of doors.
somewhere. If it's playing somewhere, there's a check coming.
The check is still rolling in.
All right, that's beautiful.
That's what we're talking about. Right. So you know what, Night Watchman, how you want to start this, man? You tell me.
Well, let's start by talking about Ted, because Ted has something coming up. Now, everybody knows him for his iconic role, but people may not know him for his writing. He has a love of stories that haven't been told. So, Ted, we want to tell us about your latest project that's going to debut, actually, a day after this show is being aired.
Yeah, excellent. We had our first preview on September the 6th, and we run through till September the 20th. My play is called Lady Patriot. It's a true story, and it concerns the Civil War. There was a black slave girl who was put into the Confederate White House, Jefferson Davis' White House.
Yes.
And this slave girl, her name was Mary Bowser. She could read, she could write, and she was a spy for the Union.
Wow.
And it's a true story. People in the South don't like to talk about it. But when I was researching the character, I went to Richmond, Virginia, and found a lot of pertinent information. But they like to deny that it ever happened, because there was a little black girl duping the master,
Absolutely. And you know what, Ted? Because the only one that I knew of, of some significance, also did spying for the Union, was Harriet.
Harriet Tubman. Yes, absolutely. And she became one of the soldiers, Union soldiers during the war.
Wow.
Harriet Tubman did. So that it's a fascinating history that we have. And I call myself a footnote historian because in order to find the Black stories, you got to read some biographies of the white people. And then in the footnotes, they'll tell you something about somebody Black.
I love that.
So I'm a footnote historian because I read all the footnotes. Then I get the information and I put it in a dramatic context and I write a play on those characters.
How did you come across this story?
This story was given to me. I played poker every Tuesday night. When I say I played poker, it was low budget. It was like a $50 thing. You know, it wasn't like $100 or $1,000, nothing like that. But it was a $50. Anyway, one of the guys, there were a couple of writers in the group, and one guy, his name was Jack Kaplan. He gave me this book about a white Southern lady that did not want to secede from the Union. The book was called Southern Lady, Yankee Spy.
Wow.
And in that book was the character of Mary Bowser. And so he gave me this book. He said, I think you'd like reading this. And I saw the title. And I went, yeah. I put it aside. I don't want to read about some white Southern lady that's a Yankee spy. And so he asked me like 6 months later if I'd read it. I said, no, I hadn't read it. Then another 3 months went by. He said, have you read it? I said, no, I haven't read it. He said, well, then you don't know about Mary Bowser. And I said, well, who's Mary Bowser? And when he told me, I said, Jack, why didn't you tell me that in the beginning? He said,
buried the lead.
Yeah. He said, I wanted to make you think you discovered her. So I sat down right then and there, read it, and I saw the play. You know, sometimes things just drop down on you. And I saw this play after I read it. And so then I started writing scenes and putting it together. I did more research. I actually researched through 27 books because I had to get the footnotes from these other lives to help put Mary Bowser together.
Absolutely.
So I always print a bibliography of my research in my plays because white people have a tendency to say, well, you know, I don't believe that this is true. And then I say, well, you see this book here in my bibliography, read that book and it'll give you the information.
So Ted, you bring your receipts.
I bring my receipts because you know how white folks are.
Hey,
They're doing it right now, as a matter of fact. How they are is coming out right now in this administration.
Well, you know what? I want to jump ahead. I wanted to jump ahead a post, of course, slavery. I'd like to go to, you know what? I need to go to the Gilded Age. I'm actually watching that now on HBO, right? Julian Fellows, Downton Abbey, now Gilded Age. And Judy, some of those characters that they're talking about there, I think you referenced them also in your work. So do tell.
Well, you know, you have to. I don't watch the Gilded Age, so please.
Yes, no worries. But I want to hear about your folks and especially suffragettes, right? And also, you getting the vote for women. What about Black women? Come on.
Well, that's exactly the question I asked when I wrote my play In the Parlor, which Meseret Stroman Wheeler and the late Ed Wheeler turned into a film.
Yeah.
Actually, I have I don't know if you can see the poster, but in Keepers of the Flame. And it has been winning award after award after award at different film festivals about Mary Church Terrell and her big debate with Alice Paul over Black women marching in the first Women's Day Parade.
In D.C., that's right.
Yes, in D.C. And so that was my question, Curtis. Where are the Black women? Because I was commissioned to write a play up in Ithaca, and you know, Rochester is where all the suffragette activity and stuff happened, and so they were having a festival. And that was my question. Well, where are Black women? And so I did my research, as Ted was talking about, and I love this, the footnote historian, Ted.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that's who you are too, Judy.
Yes.
That's who you are. You're finding the material that is hidden, and you're digging it up and bringing it to the light.
Yes. And and if they don't do horrible things with it, the Library of Congress is a wonderful thing, because there are all of these letters, and wonderful letters to NAWSA, the National Association of Women's suffrage, and that Mary and her compatriot, whose name I'm going to forget right now because we're on a show, of course.
Gotcha.
but all that material is there, and I gotta say, let's talk about the big orange elephant in the room.
Let's wow. Hold it. Night Watchman, when I first was going down the road with you, you said this was not going to be a political show.
No, I said we would talk about politics as it related to arts and culture. Do you remember that part?
Well,
yes.
Recently, we were doing, I had created some years ago a performance based on the burials at the African burial ground. And I commissioned writers to choose a burial, and we put together a show of voices. We called it Unheard Voices. And CBS News interviewed me about the show. And so when this kind of revisionist statement happened about how the National Museum of African American History and Culture was just telling the bad news, about how terrible slavery is. Nothing wonderful about slavery.
Wow.
They called me and said, would you please speak to this? And so I did. I spoke to it. I spoke to the issue of erasure, and how all along our Black people have been the people who have held this country to the standards that they say they had in the beginning. We're the ones that have helped perfect this country. And had that person actually gone to the upper levels of the National Museum of History and Culture, he would have understood what it means lifting as we climb, and making a way out of no way. If that isn't inspirational, I do not know what is. So I was able to speak to that. Only a portion of it was aired, but hopefully I'm going to get the full interview and put it on our website. And Ted, could you please, I would love to, in our next newsletter, promote Lady Patriot, September 6th through 20th, but where is it? Where will it be?
It's going to be on Theater Row, 410 West 42nd Street, which is 42nd and 9th Avenue. There are 5 theaters there. I'm in one of those theaters. We open on September the 6th. We have a 7 p.m. curtain, and we'll be there. I'll get your email after this and send you a press release. But I want to say this also, Judy, to you, that, these people want to not put slavery in a bad light and don't want to put their history in a bad light. And what they fail to recognize, because they don't want their children to know how terrible they were in the 1800s. However, their children are not blind, deaf, and dumb, because all they got to do is turn on the TV right now and they see the terrible things that they are doing to immigrants. So they're saying, well, we don't want them to know how terrible we were in the past. And then right now, at this very moment, they're separating children from their families They're opening up Alcatraz, Alligator Alcatraz. They're doing all of these terrible things as if their children can't read and write and see what they're doing. You know, I think it's ludicrous that people kowtow to this idea that, well, the past was not so bad. And then look at today and see what they're doing. That doesn't come from any, nowhere. I mean, pedophilia doesn't come from nowhere. That's slavery. They took those little girls and they made babies with those little girls. And because they were Black, they didn't feel it was anything against moral values. No, this guy has been a corrupt force all along. And so when they jump up and so rape and incest and all of that's going on right now, where does that come from? That comes from them taking their property, feeling that they have the right to do certain things to the men and the women that they owned.
Absolutely.
So it just didn't suddenly appear.
Yes.
No, this has been cultivated over years and years and years.
Well, I'm gonna send you a couple of projects. I just had a short that I made. We presented it with a documentary called "Bloodlines of the Slave Trade," and one of the points I make was that the history of this country is written in my skin. This was not a love story.
Wow. Night Watchman. Okay, now you see what you started here. You see this, but fast forwarding just a little bit further. Now you know what I'm entering, of course, the '60s, and so Voza, I'm calling on you for two things. One of the things is that you told me about a piece that Ted had written, and Ted, you'll expand on it a little bit further about a historic meeting between Malcolm and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Voza, I want you to tell me about your first introduction there with Ted.
Well, in that particular production, it was produced by National Black Theater with Woody King Jr. And Woody and we collaborate on so many opportunities because we wanted to let our community know that it's not about one of us, it's about all of us. And so when people get an opportunity to see part of our history as brilliantly portrayed by Woody King with Ted in the lead role, it was hugely successful. And we did it at the Dwight Cultural Center, one of the theaters that I was part of building with Ellis Hazlett and Ajimola. We were there to create that small, intimate space for the community. So when you get a person like Ted with his reputation and all of the exposure he's gotten over the years, it was just a beautiful opportunity to give the community a gift. And Malcolm and Chickens Come Home to Roost was that gift that we gave him that year. And I'm just so proud that I had a partnership with Woody King, who, as you're talking about, you mentioned 60s, and, I'm in my 80s, Woody is in his 80s, but we've all had a long history of being educated through the cultural media about what and how we do, where we are, written by who, and exposed where. And if you're talking about how the future generation of young people can get the kind of information that Judy just shared, it is around us making sure that we continue doing the work that we were destined to do. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was, Voza, that was a very special time for me. I played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Marcus Naylor, who's a wonderful New York actor, played Malcolm X, looked like Malcolm, and had some of his mannerisms.
Wow.
But that was, we brought back, the play had been done like 20, 30 years before with Denzel Washington and a guy named Kirk Kirksey, who played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I have to say, just a little history note, Kirk Kirksey and I, in the 60s, appeared in a play together in San Francisco called Big Time Buck White. Oh, yeah. And then Marcus Naylor and I, after we did Chickens, years later, I directed Fences up in Syracuse, and Marcus was our Troy. So the wonderful thing about show business is sometimes you make these friends and you get to really see their growth, and you meet them again later on down the road. It was a wonderful time.
So I'm making the assumption that this, of course, The Chickens Come Home to Roost, is before Denzel's portrayal of Malcolm in X.
That's where he got it. He did the homework for Chickens, so that when Spike Lee came around, he already knew who the dude was, you know? So yeah, that's exactly right. He did it. And Ollie Woods, I don't know if you know Ollie Woods. He was the NEC actor who became a director. He directed Denzel, and then he directed our show for Woody.
Wow.
So that was, I mean, it's just so wonderful when you get to be an artist and you meet these other artists and you get to have exchanges together. So that's right. Judy, I'm gonna give you my information because
definitely.
You know, we should talk. We should.
You know?
Night Watchman, once again, can you hear collaboration here?
Yeah, and I'm gonna get to see your show too.
Please, please. I'll give you the information and stuff. So.
And well, okay. So what about okay? Let me back up for 1 second. So we telling our own story and so forth, right? So let's say could a story like what you described, Ted, be done by a white writer, white director? Just ask. This is a question.
Well, you know what I find is that sometimes white writers, they really don't understand, and they have to ask the questions of the actor, not of a writer. They won't, you know, like I did a TV series with Pat Morita before he was the Karate Kid.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I did a TV series called Mr. T and Tina. And it was a sitcom, and Pat Morita wanted to get some Asian writers on the show.
Yep.
And they would not do it. They want to give that money to themselves or to their friends. So he had a whole thing going on where he kept trying to get them to at least put someone else in the room so they could get a perspective on the Japanese culture when they were writing the comedy. Now, what he did was he got two, the writers from Lucy, I Love Lucy, Bob Carroll Jr. and Madeline Pugh. They were the writers, and they were good at putting a lead character in a compromising position.
Gotcha.
They were good at that. I mean, you know, if you think about Lucy being stuck on a ledge and Superman gets her off the ledge, or eating candy, or doing Vegemite and the syrup, you know, they were good at that. But culturally, and this is what Pat knew, culturally, they couldn't put it in context. And I had another friend named Elizabeth Wong who did a Korean sitcom, and she was the only Asian in the room, and they kept shutting her up. Eric Monty, who was a friend of mine in writing class, did Good Times, and so he kept trying to put it in context for Black people, and they won't listen. They just won't listen. And every once in a while, a few of them do, and they have success. But for the most part, they are their boss, you know,
Gotcha.
and they know better than you. I
Gotcha.
went up for a series once, and I was auditioning for the pilot. And what's Giancarlo's last name?
Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito and they paired us together. But when I went into the room, before they paired me and Giancarlo, I was paired with somebody else. And they said, you know, they did a Gladys Knight joke. And I said to the guy, I said, well, you know, Gladys Knight and the Pips broke up. So this isn't relevant. This joke you're doing isn't relevant anymore. And so they went, listen, we know who Gladys Knight is. And I said, well, yeah, so do I. I know who Gladys Knight. No, those are her cousins and so-and-so, and you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
and
man.
I said, well, you know, I just saw her 2 weeks ago on a tennis court, and we had a conversation. And she told me this was true. So they got mad at me, and they took away the guy I was supposed to audition with, gave me his part, and had me audition with Giancarlo. So that is the problem with being a Black entertainer in Hollywood, is that if you try to tell them something they don't know, and no matter how diplomatic you try to be, they're going to get pissed off.
Oh my God!
They're going to get pissed off at you. And so that's one of the fights I had to go through. I was very lucky, though, in that when I did Love Boat, I had backup from the other actors.
Good.
You know,
yes.
And the other actors would support me when I would go against the grain, so to speak, or try to speak my mind about a particular situation in which they wanted a Black person to do something really stupid or really dumb, you know. And I would come from character.
Well, Ted, you did not have to put on blackface, correct?
No, but that doesn't mean they didn't want me to.
Gotcha.
You know, hey, man, listen, it's a fight. Really, it's a fight. So that's partly how I became a writer, because the frustration of seeing Black characters on TV and knowing that they're not doing justice to our situations or even our point of view on a situation. So that's why I became a writer of Black history plays. I wrote a play about John Brown and Harper's Ferry, because every time you see a John Brown play, they talk about John Brown and his sons. Yeah. Well, there were 5 Black guys with John Brown. So I wrote a play from their perspective of the 5, you know. Gotcha. Two were killed on the first day, 2 were hung with John Brown, and 1 survived. His name was Osborne P. Anderson, and I wrote a play called The Journals of Osborne P. Anderson. Oh, wow. And then I wrote a play about George Washington and his slaves. And they always think that we have a good time being a slave. I don't know where they got that from.
Well, hold it. We didn't enjoy, you know, the weekends when we could, you know, put on our church clothes and worship their deity. I'm just curious.
Well, you know, the thing is that's what they see. You know, the cakewalk was slaves making fun of the way they dance. That's what the cakewalk was. They didn't know that they were being made fun of. You know?
Judy, I hadn't heard of this. Do tell. Could you expand too?
Sure. So much of what happened on the day off, or maybe the half day off, if you were
half day, go Judy.
Well, you know, I'm writing a play now about the first Black ophthalmologist in America who went to Lafayette College in Easton, Pennsylvania, and never went back down south.
Oh my God!
I'm getting out of here.
That's right.
And I'm writing a play now, and it will be performed at Lafayette College for their, I guess it's their 200th anniversary or something, in February. And I'll let you know. I'll send everybody information about that. Okay. But you know, I mean, the man who John McDonough, who had a lot of enslaved people down in New Orleans, had created a scheme in which if his enslaved people worked like an extra day and a half or something, they would earn enough money over a certain number of years to buy their freedom.
Wow.
But if if they were able to buy their freedom, they had to get on a boat and go to Liberia, because nobody wanted a free person, a free Black person hanging around enslaved Black people. Because
are you talking about vagrancy? You're not talking about.
Well, and also giving people the idea of like, there's freedom. And so David McDonough said, no, I want to become a doctor. I do not want to go to Liberia and become a minister. And his brother, who wasn't really his brother, but they were raised together and they were both sent to Lafayette College. He got on the boat and went to Liberia. And David McDonough said, no, I'm not doing this. And he got his education and he went to New York. And he actually opened a hospital. And and he was a fine pillar of the community. But it's interesting. It's almost when we're doing research on him, it's almost as if he's been erased. I've done a lot of research, been through a lot of archives, done a lot of reading. And the man who commissioned this, who was like the head ophthalmologist at Mount Sinai Hospital, I have to give him credit. He wanted this play written, and it's being written. Dr. Richard Copeland.
Beautiful.
And he's a graduate of this college, and David McDonough, having gone there, I said, well, why are you interested in David McDonough? He said, well, I didn't really have a father, and David really didn't have a father. And I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But there are things
Go ahead,
about
Judy.
the story that I see that the other people around the history of the story don't quite see. So I'm really glad that he had the wisdom to hire a Black writer.
Beautiful.
That's very good, Judy, because when we read these things, we also have to read between the lines.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
I was talking to my dramaturg about this, another Black woman, Kim Sykes, and we just said the exact same thing. He will read stuff and go, look, and we'll read between the lines and go, look.
That's good, baby. That's good.
That's a real thing. So now, Voza, I know particular icons that have not been erased, and you told me about your long-standing friendship with them, and that, of course, was Harry Belafonte.
Yes.
And Sidney Poitier. So I want you to talk about your initial meetings and also Harry's continued involvement in the struggle.
I was very fortunate to meet a person named Roger Furman in 1964. And when I met him, Roger was very enthusiastically talking about his relationship with Harlem. Roger wasn't born in Harlem, he was born in New Jersey, but he was so taken positively by the exposure that he received from Abe Hill and Fred O'Neill, who were co-founders of the American Negro Theater, American Black Theater. And Roger Furman was a member along with Harry, Ruby Dee, Gertrude Jeanette, and others. And Roger started talking to me in a way that perked my interest, because we were looking at what was happening in the South, what was happening in the North, what was happening to students. Students were become mobilized. What were happening with seniors. Seniors wouldn't ride the bus. All of these things started converging. And we got a chance through media to see these things. But on the other hand, we wanted to bring all of that to life. And that's what New Heritage Theater was about, because Roger used the platform of the American Negro Theater to be the guiding light for his new company that he wanted to start in 1964. Wow. So for me, it's been a long journey of education. I had no idea that in addition to Roger being a writer, a playwright, a director, a scenic director, that it was really important that these stories be told, not only locally, but what was happening globally with people of color. So that was a kind of education I had. Fortunately for me, Harry Belafonte came back on the scene because when Roger died and Ruby Dee asked me to take over the theater, I didn't feel that I was prepared to take over the theater. I was assisting him, but not walking in his footsteps. Then I found out that he was lecturing at the New School, that he had a book out, called The Black Book with Toni Morrison. I said, what the and I'm volunteering my services for, and now he passed and Ruby and Ozzy said, Voza, take over. I said, oh my God, no, this is too much. And I told the board of directors I wouldn't do it. And the next morning, Ruby Dee calls me and said, you will take the position.
You could not say no to Ruby.
No, and they knew that. And Ruby said, I will be with you all the way, Voza.
Wow.
You take that position. So for me, it gave me an opportunity to remember two things about what Roger wanted to do. Capture the history as is and look at the future of what has happened in other countries where they're predominantly Black in Africa. And then that led me to going to South Africa. Harry Belafonte came to see one of the plays that we were doing. In fact, it was the first play from South Africa that I did was a play called Woza Albert, which celebrated the life of Albert Lutuli, the first African to represent the country, their country, globally before Nelson Mandela. And I brought that show in to New Heritage Theater after it played at the Lucille Hotel Theater. And the New York Times sent a writer that's on the front page of the entertainment section. It said, from Soweto to the village to Harlem. And because it was on the front page of the theater piece for the New York Times, all of these white people were online trying to come into my little 150-seat theater like it was a James Brown concert.
Wow.
So the people in the neighborhood would say, what the hell's going on there? All these white people up here. But the word had gotten out. Excellent. And then the next performance, the people in the community were coming and standing online with folding chairs because they had heard how small that the theater was. And we were breaking records. If the fire department ever came, I would have been arrested. On the stage itself, the only prop were two crates. And I had to put some of the guest people who came to see the show when they're on the stage with the actors, because they didn't want to leave. Nice. So it's things like that, Curtis, that over the years, Harry Belafonte knew that. I decided to do another show, and Harry teamed up with Hugh Masekela, Miriam Makeba, Paul Simon. Said, we're taking this show to Broadway. Ooh, okay. And that was my second. South African show, and of course, my third South African show that dealt with apartheid was Sarafina. And we played for 2 years on Broadway, but we lasted for 10 years globally. So it's those kinds of journeys that I've taken. Harry Belafonte loved the program that we created at New Heritage for young young people as young as 12 years old to 18 years old.
Wow.
Teaching them all aspects of not only being a creative contributor, but to be able to say that you've done public service to the community.
Beautiful.
We created something where we were sending our young people into the hospital to read poetry to people who were patients.
Nice. Yes. And you know what, Night Watchman, I understand that you have a visual. Is that correct? You're mute. Can't hear you. Nope. We still can't hear you. So, that's okay. But let me see. Should I bring this visual up to the stage and see what's up here? Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Excellent. Yes.
So
there we are.
this is Voza and Ted at Harlem Week. It was great to see both of them out there. I was in the right place at the right time, and Voza asked me to document it. I did. I think I put one on his camera and one on mine. You know, got to grab my assets as well. And I also wanted to say about this day was so important for Harlem. First of all, you know, I want to give that day I wanted to see Voza and just give him let's keep that picture up.
Keep it okay, you got it.
I could talk while we're up there. We can be in the side and talk.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
But Voza, like many of us who have lost close loved ones recently, but Voza lost two in like the same week.
I know.
This was my first opportunity to just extend my condolences directly to him, but also to have the Harlem community do it. And so this day was important because this is the first Harlem Week without Lloyd Williams. And it was one of the best ones ever. And it's just a tribute to the fact that the work goes on. You know, we all run our race, and at one point in time, we all step off the stage, but the work goes on, the work that's being done. And that's why, Curtis and I are so grateful to have the three of you and the things that you do, and just let you know the work does endure and it makes such a difference. And it's our refuge in the storm that we're in right now. And so, I just want to put this picture in it because there's just so much joy. There was so much joy seeing you guys up on the stage, seeing Harlem embrace you, seeing the economic activity of the different vendors and people spending their money in their own community and supporting their own culture. And so, this thing that's been built up for years over the work that the three of you and all your, it's not because it ain't just the three of you, it's a cast of thousands when you start talking about friends and friends of friends and all the things that have been done. So it's Curtis and I love having this opportunity to use our channel to just point a light on the work that's been done and being done, and spotlighting young folks who are coming up and taking the mantle from us. So, that's my story, and I'm sticking to
it. and if I didn't say it before, Voza, I'll say it again. Love you, brother. Love you, brother.
Thank you.
Right. So you know what, Night Watchman, I got to get ready for Ted, man, because like I said, I didn't know these creative skills in terms of also writer, man. Like, wow. Have you been doing the writing even before the acting, or what?
Yes, I didn't know what was going to break first, So I've written to date 28 plays, and they're different genres. I've written musicals. I've written Shakespearean themed plays. I wrote a prequel to Othello, because most of I did a production of Othello, and the black folks said, well, I didn't understand this part. Well, what did that part? So I wrote a prequel so that you could see the prequel, then you can go see Othello. And I write history plays, as you know, musicals, classical theater in the Shakespearean vein, and I write just different things that not bother me, but I go, somebody should write a one-man show about Dunbar. I'll write a play about Dunbar. Or when I see things like what was going on with George Washington, and I remember seeing a portrait, and so I wrote a play called George Washington's Boy, and I put stuff in it that, sometimes people say, well, I don't believe that. One of the things I had in it was George Washington had a child by a slave girl named Venus. His brother owned the slave girl named Venus. And then all the white historians will tell you why it's not true. And then there's one or two white historians that'll say, oh, the other guys are going to tell you why it's not true, that they never met. Here's how they met, where they met, and how the child was conceived. The child is named West Ford, F-O-R-D, West Ford. And you can go online, Google that name, and you'll find out all about it. But everybody wants to say, well, George was this guy that didn't have those same emotions that they have, And so I wrote a play about it, And so that's what I do. I'll find something, that bothers me. Now, just not Black plays. I wrote a play about Michelangelo carving the David because I just found that interesting, all of the trials and tribulations he went through, because it's art. It's about art. And so I wanted to know. There he is, West Floyd.
Okay, Ted, if you didn't know, there's a reason why the Night Watchman is here, okay?
Yes, with my sparkling wit and personality.
Yeah. He's on it. Well, they gave him, this is an interesting side note. They gave him 68 acres, and when he turned 21, they freed him.
Wow.
Okay? Wow. Washington died, but he left 68 acres for him. They freed him. He then was interviewed by Harper's Magazine. They said he looked just like George, except he was brown and he was 5'8". And then West Ford sold the land and bought more land, which became Gum Springs in Virginia. It's called Gum Springs or Gummy Springs. And every summer in Gum Springs, Arthur Ashe and Althea Gibson would go there and play tennis.
Wow.
Is that something?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like handed down, man.
Right.
Arthur Ashe played tennis on land that was once owned by a Black man named West Ford. I mean, I just love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I love that. I love that you talk about the history and the denial or the confirmation. I wrote a play that was basically, a fictionalized version of 1967, my childhood, and I lived, and there were white people in the audience that said, and the main character was a young girl who was precocious and loved language and loved words. And these white people in the audience at one of these talkbacks that I wasn't allowed to, speak back to, but I ended up speaking back. Said, well, we've been to the south side of Chicago. We've seen these children hanging out on the streets. There aren't any young people like this in Chicago. Wow. And I was like, well, you wouldn't have seen them because these people who like language aren't hanging out on the street.
Wow.
But just that this entitlement that their perception would be more valued than my actual experience.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, one thing's Judy. So I already had posed it to Ted. Now I'm posing it to you. What got you in terms of writing, telling our story?
Well, it's interesting. I was an actor, and I was only working in February.
Black History Month? No, come on. Really? Go ahead.
You go to regional theaters and everybody's doing a Black Day in February. So that's what you work. So, after whatever play I was doing was up, I, had time in the day, and I started writing this play that I saw an image, and that play became a play, Fast Blood, which I think a link is to on my ASP Arts Collective website. But we had a beautiful production of it 20 years after I wrote it.
Wow.
Wow.
Finally, somebody was like, oh,
Yes.
too hot to handle. But that's how I started writing. I couldn't go out of town anymore when my daughter got to be school age. And I was like, oh, well, what am I going to do? And the whole idea was for me, it's to live a creative life. So
yes.
That's the center of it all, is to live a creative life. So whether that was acting or writing or any of these many other things that I do, I ran a theater company for court-involved young men for a decade.
Yes, I remember you telling me.
Yeah,
that.
Stargate Theater Company. So that's really my purpose. And did you ask me a question, or was I just whacking?
How'd you become a writer?
Well, that's how I became a writer. I had my days off when I was out of town being an actor, and then I really liked it. And then there was this window, and this is what I'm still doing. In fact, there was this window on television where they were like, oh, a lot of Black people watch daytime television, and we need some writers, and you're a playwright, so why don't you come and try this genre out?
Wow.
And so the head of daytime at NBC, who was Kathy Talbert, she was married to Michael Weller, the playwright, and she trained me in both script writing and story writing, because daytime writing is almost like it's a conveyor belt. And so, and I'm still doing it today. I'm actually I'm writing Beyond the Gates, which was it took 7 years for Sheila Ducksworth, the executive producer, to get this bad boy on the air, with Michelle Valjean, who is a incredible head writer. And I'm loving it, and I think it is it's the highest rated, and it's certainly the highest rated of all the shows that are on now. And
congratulations.
So how does it feel being back on daytime?
Yeah, Beyond the Gates. And talk about representation. She said she only wants language coming out of Black people's mouths, that written by Black people. So the entire script writing staff are Black writers.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that a first for daytime TV?
It is a first.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to find out, though, Ted, your agent gives you a call. There's this new pilot that we're talking about called Love Boat. Where were you, and what was your reaction?
Well, here's the deal. I'm going to tell you very quickly. I did 3 series for ABC Network. The first series was That's My Mama, which Judy, as you know, is on Beyond the Gate. Clifton is. Then I did a second series, which I was telling you about earlier with Pat and Rita, called Mr. T and Tina.
Yes.
Now, what happened was the network watches all of these shows. And when I had a little guest star appearance. I did my thing, and the laugh needle went up.
Oh,
okay. When I came on, did my little bit, and then I left. And when I left, the laugh needle went down.
All right. Okay.
So the network took notice of that. So it became a regular part because they wanted that needle up. And my part became bigger and bigger because the needle would stay up when I was on doing my comedy.
Nice.
Anyway, they canceled the show. I think they aired 4 episodes. We shot 8. And the network said, we want you to go meet with the producer of this pilot, Love Boat. So I went and I met with the producer. The producer says, hey, the network is very hot on you. Do you get seasick? Now, what are you going to do? You're an actor. What, can you cook? Yes. Can you ride a horse? Yes. Do you get seasick? No, I don't get seasick. You know. So, and I used to tease my co-stars because they all had to do screen tests. I didn't have to do a screen test because they seen what I did on Mr. T and Tina. So, nice. And I would tease them over the years. We ran for 10 years, and I would tease them whenever they lost it or they got the giggles or, you know, I say, well, see, you know, that's why you had to take a screen test. So I didn't take no screen test because they know I show up on time. And they know I can get my laughs.
Yes.
So, but
Ted Lange,
happened.
You are the secret sauce. We understand.
I was the secret sauce.
There you go. There you go.
And everybody black in America at that time knew it.
You know, well, Night Watchman.
Yes.
Can you say lightning round?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Would you like to go around, or should I?
You should.
Wow.
Because I'm lazy. And shiftless.
Oh, he is a proper Negro. We like that. Okay.
That's
yes. Right. So having said that, Voza, I'm coming to you. What do we have in store? New Heritage Theater Group. Tell me what's on the horizon.
For me, the work that I do is inspired by the Harry Belafonte's, Roger Furman, and all of the other creative Black writers, producers, actors. After 62, 82, I'm 82, and
yes.
After 60 years, I'm still inspired every day.
Very nice. Okay, so going into the fall season, anything I should look for in particular? You tell me.
Well, as a lot of your viewers may know, I was also the co-producer of Harlem Week.
Yes.
And so we're going to look at things that honor the legacy of Lloyd Williams also as we move forward. So I'll be dealing with some of those initiatives.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Voza. Judy.
And also, there's a Harlem Arts Alliance meeting coming up later this month, correct?
That's right. And this particular meeting will gear toward bringing in younger potential members of the Harlem Arts Alliance, which is a nonprofit art service organization. And the meeting, I know, will be at City College. I think it's on the 25th of this month, but it's on a Saturday.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay, beautiful. Well, Judy.
Yes.
What do we have? ASP, what we got going on?
ASP is in we are in a generative mode right now. And we
because Judy got a new job.
Judy got a new job so she can make some commissions.
I love it.
So you know Camille Thomas because she has been in the Harlem Dramatic Writers Workshop writing circle, but she's we have helped her with a commission that she has, and so she's going to be doing some writing, and we'll be able to announce her work. Camille is amazing. Camille's writing television. She's writing theater. She is she's with the the company that does verbatim theater. I don't know how she's doing everything. But we love to support Camille Thomas, so we're doing that, and we're also supporting Lynn Martin in an original piece. Lynn Martin is a wonderful, wonderful writer. Started out as a playwright. I've written with her on television many times, and we are supporting her in her research and development of a play about Toni Morrison, or a wonderful actress.
Wow.
Brenda Thomas, who looks like she could be Toni Morrison's twin. So I wanted to get that done before, you got to, strike while the iron is hot. And of course, everybody watch Beyond the Gates.
There you go. Okay. Beyond the Gates, folks. Okay. So of course, Ted Lange, our brother from across the other side
of the country, West Coast brother. West Coast brothers in the East.
Yes, indeed. So do tell me, what do we have to look forward to, Ted?
Okay, so I want you all to come down to see Lady Patriot, but also, if you're on the West Coast in San Francisco, I wrote a play. There's a big controversy on whether or not Shakespeare wrote all of his plays, and I wrote a play about that. It's called Shakespeare Over My Shoulder. And it's about how Shakespeare, did he or didn't he write all of those plays? And it's a 4-character play. The other characters who are also given credit for writing the Shakespeare plays is Francis Bacon, Edward de Vere, and Christopher Marlowe. Wow. And so I have these guys, and I got a lot of different books on what they think happened, and I put it all together in a play, and I'm going to be doing that at the African American Shakespeare Company in San Francisco next year.
All right.
Cool. So give us the details for Lady Patriot.
The details are tomorrow. I'm at 410 West 42nd Street. We run from September the 6th till September the 20th. It's called Lady Patriot. I have 2 of my Love Boat cast members in the show, Fred Grandy and Jill Whelan.
Nice.
And come see the show, enjoy a good laugh, enjoy some drama, and enjoy some history that you didn't know.
Is there somewhere online that people can go for tickets?
Oh, yes, theaterrow.org, O-R-G, theater with R-E, theaterrow.org, O-R-G, and you can get tickets there. Okay?
Beautiful. So, Night Watchman, are you going to... you got it up there. Perfect.
There it is.
That's right.
So, Night Watchman, can you take us home?
I think I can.
All right.
You can listen to Soul Lounge Primetime on WHCR 90.3 of the Voice of Harlem. Also live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. You can always find us on Monday evenings, 7 o'clock on the radio, 8 o'clock on your favorite channels. At least it's your favorite when we're on it. We're so grateful for these 3 iconic culture warriors, if you will.
Yes, indeed. In the fight, still doing the good fight.
Information and valuable stories that haven't been told, and we can't wait to hear the next one from any one of you. And all of you all are what, Curtis?
Oh my God! Invited back to the cookout. However, no daggone raisins in the potato salad. You got it.
Absolutely. So take care and join us again on Monday evening.